All right, guys, welcome back to Living in Provo, Utah. I'm Scott Walters with Best USA Realty, and this channel is all about what it's like to live in Provo, Utah. Today, I want to talk about specifically the cost of living and all the things that go with living in Provo and working and life here in Provo. Okay, so let's get into it. First of all, I get this asked all the time. Now, I ought to do a disclaimer in that, cost of living can vary so drastically based upon people's consumption habits, what they drive, how big their house is, how much they turn on the air conditioning, how much they spend for groceries. So I'm going to kind of come at this from my personal perspective and what we spend as a family for cost of living, as well as just my experience in being in real estate and seeing what it's costing people to rent homes and buy homes. And so I'll be relying upon my opinion and my personal experience and what it costs to live here in Provo. Now remember to like this video. I'd love for you to click on the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you can stay up to date on the latest videos that we publish to this Living in Provo channel, which will be updating at least weekly with new videos all about living in Provo and Utah Valley. And of course, I love helping people relocate and move to this area, to Utah Valley. I get calls all the time, so I'm going to leave my contact information in the description below and hopefully on the screen too. So reach out to me. I'd love to visit with you, share my experiences living here, or answer any questions that you have. So with that, let's get into it. I think probably one of the first obvious questions I get from most people is, well, how much do houses cost here? Well, I guess I'll give you a historical perspective, and this probably isn't different than almost any place in the country, but homes go up over time. 15 years ago, you could buy a 2,000 square foot home, 5-bed, 3-bath for about $165,000. Now, that same home is going to cost you $350,000 to $450,000, depending upon how fancy it is on the inside. So home prices have definitely gone up. I've worked with a couple of people that have been that are single and renting. I've seen people be able to rent a single apartment somewhere from $450 to $550 a month. I've seen other people who are renting townhomes. They want a little bit more space. A lot of townhomes are 3 to 4 bedrooms, usually 2-bath, maybe 2.5-bath. Those are generally renting for around $1,750 a month. And then if you get into renting a home, most 5-bedroom, 3-bath homes are renting somewhere between $2,200 to $2,500 a month. Now, in the meanwhile, you could own that same home and pay a mortgage payment somewhere between $1,800 and $1,900, depending on the interest rate that you get and how much money you put down on a home. So still, in my opinion, is definitely better and cheaper as far as cost of living if you can own your own home rather than rent the home. So anyway, if you have more questions on that, reach out to me. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have on the cost of renting or purchasing here in the Provo and Utah Valley markets. Now, the other question, this is probably the second most asked question, is what are the utilities? Well, it depends. My experience in living in my first home was probably around 3,500 square feet. Our average bill, if you average it out over the whole year, because obviously it's higher in the winter months when you're using your heat to heat the house than it is in the summer months and spring months when you can get away with not having to run your heater so much. Probably an average for us was around $250 a month. Then when we moved to our new home, which was twice the size, then that doubled. Our average was probably $500 to $600 a month, depending. Right now, it's like $230 because we're just coming out of spring. We haven't had to have the AC on. We haven't had to have the heater on. So it just depends. It really depends on how much you run those things. And I think that's pretty typical for most places. Now, and keep in mind for pretty much every city here along, at least in Utah Valley, that utilities are going to include your water bill with the city, your garbage bill with the city. That's going to include your electric bill with the city. Typically, you're also going to have a separate bill with Questar Gas for gas, and that's usually not a whole lot a month, maybe $50 a month or less. So that's what you're looking at normally when you're looking at utilities for the Provo area. The other thing is groceries. How much do groceries cost? Again, that just depends. Are you having lobster every night or beans? There's certainly been times when we've had a whole lot of spaghetti meals to keep things kind of cheap, but I've got a family of 8. mom and dad and then all the kids, and we're probably around $1,000 a month. But I also have two teenage boys, a grown daughter, of course myself, and I've got another preteen that eat me out of house and home. So my grocery bill is probably a little more than the average family's grocery bill would be. And of course, you can go a lot cheaper. I mean, if you're not, if you're frugal, you could really eat for much less than that. Property tax. That's probably another question a lot of people ask me. Well, how much are property taxes, especially when people are coming from out of the area? And relatively speaking, Utah is a much cheaper place when it comes to property taxes compared to other areas. I've got some clients I worked with last year that actually owned their home in California free and clear, yet their monthly bill to be able to pay their taxes was, I want to say like $1,500 or $1,600 a month to cover their taxes. I think that also did include that they had to carry some insurance on, earthquake insurance or something on their home. So, I mean, the cost of living in a place like California with property taxes, things like that, way more than here. So, I mean, a property tax on a 6,000 square foot home here in Utah is going to be somewhere around $3,500 a year. Whereas you go to some other state like California or Virginia like that, that's probably going to be triple that. So we're really good on the property taxes here. Now, when it comes to phone, internet, cable, I mean, that's how we work things. A lot of people cut the cable and cut the cord, and they just go with cell phones. Our cell phone bill is around $200 a month, and we've got, I think, 6 phones on that line. And then when it comes to our phone, internet, cable in the home, that's around $200 as well. My portion of the internet bill of that's probably around $40. But again, we get a little discount for bundling. So again, that's really going to just depend on what you use. You can totally just use the internet on your phone. You can use other internet providers. So again, something that varies quite a bit. Car insurance for a family like ours is $203 a month. We've got 5 cars, 3 ATVs, a boat, a camper, a trailer. Those are all things that we have to pay insurance on. And it's costing us $203 a month. Remember, I've got teenagers. So when you have teenagers, it really jacks that bill through the roof. Once we can get those boys off our insurance, that bill will come down quite a bit. But right now, it's a lot. It feels like a lot. So when it comes to transportation, fuel bills around here, I think the cheapest I saw gas right now is about $3.06 a gallon. So of course it depends on how big your tank is. I have a Dodge Ram that I get like 12 miles to the gallon. It pretty much sits on the side of my house most of the time. I just use it when I need to work with it. The rest of the time I drive a Honda Hybrid, and I'm getting around 53 miles to the gallon with that. So my gas bill with that is really cheap. I mean, it takes me $20 to fill that up, and I can cover a lot of territory with that. So again, that's really a subjective thing. It just depends on what you drive, what you have. So, but some other transportation costs. Some people who use we have a great transportation system called the UTA, and they have a bus system as well as the TRAX train system that runs up and down the Wasatch Front. It can take you all the way up to Ogden. A regular pass that just lets you use the bus system, that's like $85 a month. So that doesn't let you hop on the TRAX train that lets you go flying up up to Salt Lake. But if you buy a premium pass, that's $170 a month. That lets you actually hop on the train. You could, if you happen to live in Salt Lake, and there's plenty of people around here that live in Provo and commute to Salt Lake, and so that may be worth it to them to pay that $170 a month to be able to hop on the tracks. Last thing I was thinking of is preschool. A lot of people here have quite a few kids, and so they have some daycare costs. For us, we actually didn't have daycare costs. We did have preschool costs. We had a great local teacher that lived just right across the street from us, and she charged $90 a month, and it was fantastic preschool for our kids. I think that's probably a pretty typical price that you're going to see for kids in preschool, and that was like 3 days a week. And anyway, so I don't know the daycare cost necessarily. That's going to vary as well because we didn't ever put our kids into daycare. We just put them into preschool. Anyway, guys, give me a comment. Make a comment. Let me know what you liked about this video. What did I miss? What should I put in here? What did you like? And I'll be happy to address those in some future videos. Remember to reach out to me. I love to visit with people about the idea of relocating to Provo in the Utah County area. I've been here for 42 years of my 49 years of life. I know every city very well, and I've got a pretty good idea what it costs and utilities and things are in all those different cities. I'm going to be happy to share those with you. Remember to like this video. I want you to press the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified every time that I send out a new video, and we'll catch you on the next video.